Yeah, I'm gonna let you lead this next one because I have no idea what this is talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you haven't seen all the debates on TikTok?
No,
I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it's been like a huge,
I mostly just watch sports, so I don't see a lot of what goes on.
yeah. And it's unfortunate because one of my mutuals on TikTok, he was getting killed on Twitter, killed because
You shouldn't be having any male mutuals anyway, but
I'm like 90% positive he is a homosexual. So there's that.
I don't
I
care.
think. Oh my god, what if he's
I
not
don't,
and
I
he
don't
sees
care.
this?
Unfollow every male on every platform.
Uh, Load. Okay. Anyways,
No, I'm
it's
not unfollowing the women, but anyway.
don't piss me off. You know what's funny? Why am I even on this? I need to find my. I'm gonna try to find the tweets too. But oh, you know, I could just go to the girl's page. She's what's it called? She's the one who made the tweet, or she made the TikTok that started kind of a lot of this
You gotta have these
lately.
things pulled up, gang.
I know. But as
At
you can
least
see, look, I
at
typed
least
in,
introduce the topic.
I typed in. Okay, so basically, what the topic is, you can see it based off a lot of the tweets. I think millennials have been having a discussion where they said that they feel like that's why I think like the game telephone where somebody
Hmm.
says something and then it gets mixed up and construed or somebody takes full offense to like something and then they twist it and make it so much farther. I think what the conversation was is millennials said it's not like they said they look younger than Gen Z. I think they were saying that they aging more gracefully than Gen Z. So I think they were saying that like me at 30 I look good I look like I'm 30 I look good at 30 but you at 21 look like you're 30 already. Or you at 21 look like you're 26. Like a lot of them are aging faster. It's not like
Okay.
millennials are saying that they were aging.
And what are because that's the other thing, right? Because there's too many. Like I hate when there's no definitive thing. Like there shouldn't be an opinion on what's considered a specific generation. Like that never made sense to me.
It does make sense though because it's based off what's going on in the time period.
No, no, no. Look, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, man.
There shouldn't be an opinion on what a specific time period is considered. So if millennials is a thing and that's a classification, there shouldn't be a debate or subjective on what time period that encompasses. Because
Yeah,
the baby boomers, for example, that number doesn't shouldn't change. It was at the height of when births were at its highest, and that happened between these specific years. So if they're introducing a terminology to classify somebody, why is there a debate on what that classification is?
yeah. It
You know what
shouldn't
I'm
be.
saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. That should.
millennials should be this is this year
Yeah,
until this year. But there's too many differences, and it's like, well, you might be Gen X, Z, Y, Q, elemental P. Like, why is there no specificity on what it actually encompasses, what age group it encompasses? Because I don't know what I'm classified as.
well, we're considered apparently as millennials, which is we're
Who?
millennials. We're on the
See,
cusp.
bro, I didn't even
No,
know that was a
because we're
thing.
technically we're Gen Z and we're millennials. That's why this debate is actually funny because we're literally in the middle of it. So that's why I actually just saw a meme. This person's like, they said that as a 97 baby, like they're just like, please, like Michael Jackson meme would put the gun down because
But
we're in
why?
the middle
But how are you in the middle if there should be defined lines on what?
because we're on like the border. Like there are defined lines. So I think technically, I think we are considered millennials, but we're the last of the millennials. We're 1996, so like I think millennials really start in like 1995 and above. I think we're literally the last, considered the very last of millennials. But we're on the cusp. So you could say like we grew up with Gen Z. Like you and your brother were close and he's Gen Z. Me and Maya are close and she's Gen Z. And me and Amira are close and she's Gen Z. So it's like we grew up with a lot of the older Gen Z. So it's like we're right on the line, especially with us with later birthdays. We just missed
So
Gen Z by
so
like
who's
2 months.
are millennials considered Gen Y? Where's
No,
Gen?
millennials are considered like all of our people that we work with and at work who are in their 30s. That's millennials. Like they're like core millennials.
Then
Like
who's Gen Y?
I don't think is Generation Y is next. I think Generation Y is the people that are just born now. If I'm not mistaken. Or are they Gen X? No,
They're X.
no. Wait, let me see.
See, this is exactly this is like none of it makes
There's
sense.
baby boomers, which everybody knows was after the war. Then we're Gen X, which is our parents. Gen Y is the people like our cousins who are they're in their 30s now. 1980 to 1994. But yeah, I think Gen Y and millennials are the same. And then Gen Z because millennials was like the new age. I think Gen Y and millennials are the same.
Wait, what is Generation Alpha, bro?
That's the new beats. That the baby's
I
born
could have
now.
sworn the people now were Generation X. I know that's
No, the
backwards.
Gen Z. Like,
Yeah,
you've heard
I know
Gen
it
Z.
goes backwards.
Yeah.
But Generation Alpha.
No,
is the same.
Generation X are our parents.
Whatever.
But Gen Y is the same thing as millennials. Yeah.
Go ahead. Everybody don't need to hear our breakdown.
But yeah. So this been this debate that millennials are just, like I said, it got misconstrued, I think, to where now we're saying that millennials look younger than Gen Z. And I wouldn't be shocked if some millennials did say that they look younger. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a thing. But basically there's just this whole war going on TikTok, on Twitter, and there was this one girl, I'm trying to find it. I know I responded to her tweet, but she replied, oh yeah, here she is. She made this tweet or this TikTok that goes like this. She said, like, millennials look younger than who? But like millennials are like replying like who look younger than Gen Z, and they're like, you, or we do, and some of them look a little hit, like responding, like this is another person, and this is the person my mutual on TikTok, and they're cooking him because they're like he looks, they're like, come on, like look, they're like come on, you, so it's a little weird, right? And this girl was like the main facilitator of the beef. And you see this as 45K likes. So this has been like a trend lately. And it's just weird because it's like, first of all, why is there a competition?
Send the asteroid and destroy us all, please.
Like, and what I feel like is like we said this on so many conversations. It's sad to see because we're seeing it in our own age mates. I think what we're starting to see is millennials are aging. And with aging comes that realization that I'm no longer the cool, young, hip generation anymore. Like, everybody's always like, even the younger kids now, or they're coming for Nikki, you're 40, you're old, but 40 is going to creep up on all of us real quick. Because look, we're almost 30, right? So look how quick our 20s went. 40 is right around the corner when you really think about it, right? So I think when you start to age, people now are comfortable in their age. Like, they want to be like, we still look good. We still, like, because it's just like this denial that you're aging. So every generation is just the repeated cycle. You hate to see it. This like competition with the youngins. Like, why do you care? Okay, yeah, maybe they are wearing wigs and doing makeup and a lot of stuff more advanced than we were because things just weren't there yet, right? Like makeup wasn't what it is now. Hair wasn't what it is now. So yeah, maybe they are doing more advanced things, but that's every generation. Like that's every generation, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe some of them are looking older because what they're doing to their hair, makeup, and skin. But who cares? It's not all of them. If you look at the average Gen Z, they look young. People take a handful of people that they see on the internet, on TikTok, that might got a little following, and think that's they judging a whole generation. Like, go to any, like, I work right around the corner from a school. I be seeing them in the morning sometimes, like, when I'm running late. I'm like, oh my God, move, because they're trying to cross the street. They look young. They look like their age. They don't look like Instagram models. Like, you used to see a handful of people and you're judging a whole generation off of that. So I think the competition is very weird. And it's just funny because like I said, we're on the cusp. We're 1996 baby, so it's not like we're on any side on the conversation. Because I think we look good for our age. I think we're 27. Like, I wouldn't say I look young. I think I look 27. And I still look young because I'm young. Like, we're still young. Like, 27 is young. So, but I wouldn't jump out the window and be like, I look like I'm comparing myself to a 19-year-old because that's weird. Why do I even care what a 19-year-old got going on? And I feel like some of these millennials, like older millennials, are kind of corny. Like, why are you in competition with kids? Like, yeah, and the Gen Z kids too. Like, why some of them worry about it? Like, I feel like the millennials are the one that says it first. But like, why you worry about the older people? Like, I don't get it.
This all ties back. There's so many different things that happen in society that I feel all tie back to the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I think most people, and we need to acknowledge this. So, and there's not this sense of bias just because I perceive myself to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that to be a fact. And what I determine to be a fact is basically the way other people feel about me. So I don't view myself as anything. I let other people determine that. Like, you can't, it's almost like somebody that's selling a product. They can't determine what the market is demanding. It's always the consumer that demands, that provides what the demand is. So I never look at myself. I can't define the market. I can't define who I am and how people perceive me. I can only do whatever it is that I'm doing, and then let the responses from other people define who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody else feels like I'm a piece of shit, but I feel like I'm great, you kind of have to defer to what everybody else thinks.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Especially when there's a lot of people.
So I think that I fall into a higher tier of individual.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that people should recognize is that most people don't fall anywhere remotely close to
Nope.
the perception that they think they have.
And sorry not to cut you off, but we even said this off camera like a few months ago, like maybe a year ago at this point, about how like everybody thinks they're a 10.
No,
No.
no. I think
You're
I'm on
probably
a.
not. I think 10s are rare.
I don't think really anybody's a 10.
Yeah, because that's basically saying that you're perfect.
I think there are some for sure, but that's like small handful.
But it's like everybody can't be a 10. Like, come on.
Right. I think
some people are so delusional.
I think I'm in an upper tier based on certain characteristics. And if you look at statistically, if you want to do it from a mathematical perspective, I'm definitely in the upper tier, but I would never even say that I'm a 9 in anything.
Yeah.
Like,
but then you say that and people are like, oh, you love yourself. It's like, you can love yourself, but be realistic.
Yeah, I don't not love myself because I'm realistic.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't love myself because I don't think I'm perfect, because I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a 10.
I love myself to not be
delusional. No,
I was going to say a certain word, but because
loving yourself is truly recognizing flaws and all, who you are.
Yeah.
Loving yourself is not being delusional.
So I think a lot of people, basically what I'm trying to get at, y'all, is that there's a significant amount of people that aren't aware of where they fall into society, so they view themselves on a higher plane than they really are.
And sometimes their friends are to blame.
Most of the time.
Or the men that gas them up that know they're not that good looking. But last time, your friends, my friend's bad. But.
Well, you're talking about women. I'm talking about anybody.
No, yeah, anybody. Yeah, the women, men too.
People just don't view themselves in the way that society portrays them. Because they say, and I don't know if this is to be a fact, that you always view yourself as being more attractive in the mirror than how other people perceive you. I don't know if that's true, but if we want to use that as a metaphor for people's perception in general, I think that's the case. I think that people don't have a real good gauge on who it is that they are, because that individual, both of the people you just showed me, I'm like.
And there's been so many too like that, like where they're stitching it and they're like, everybody just
you
like,
gotta be realistic with yourself. And I think that the people that are of a certain age, basically what I'm trying to get at is that if you're 34, I'm not beefing with kids that are 20 on the internet, on TikTok, on a platform that they run, basically, that we only really have because of them.
Yeah.
And then
literally
you're trying to say that you're more attractive than, it's just a weird energy, right? Like, I'm not gonna be 14 years older than you and then try to talk about your looks. Like, it's just weird. Like I was saying in the other, like earlier, I don't even really want to be having conversations with, I wouldn't even, when we're talking about age gaps in relationships, but beyond 4 years is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even really want to be having conversations on the internet with people that are beyond a certain age. It's just weird. And I think that all of the older people that are trying to make this debate, like they've been losers their whole lives and they've been lied to about who they are.
Yeah.
And it brings them this confidence to speak about certain stuff on the internet that they really shouldn't legitimately have. And trying to attack other people on the internet is their crowning achievement, because that's all they have. They never really did the things that they wanted to do in life at this point. They thought their life would be a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, you see people thought that they would be more in a relationship by now, have a house,
married,
have the job and the money and all that other stuff, but those things never came. So there's nothing else really for those type of people except to grab social media, because that's the only real attention that they can get. And then even then, they really don't have anything going for them. So the types of stuff that they can say about people on social media or can say about themselves, it's not really a long list of anything at all. So it's really just the losers that never really got to where they wanted to be in life, and they're starting to get older and they're getting more miserable. So they're fighting with kids on the internet about who looks better.
That's a really good point.
So because you don't see me doing that.
Yeah. like when people who are not miserable with their lives aren't focused on that, like that's all they got is their voice on the internet. That's all they got. You
don't got nothing. Like you don't see like. And it's just...
It's so weird. And it screams insecurity.
Because I never peaked.
Because my whole thing is, we could have the conversation, I guess, about like younger kids seem like they're like people said they feel like the tween stage has completely, like the preteen, middle, the tween stage has completely gone. So yeah, like kids 13, 14-year-olds nowadays aren't necessarily, there's no justices anymore. There's no Claire's. Like they're not shopping at those places. Like they're jumping from being a kid to jumping straight to Sephora,
And I would say that's
Fashion Nova. But who cares? Every generation, like yeah, that stage is dying out, right? And this probably is a big shift that we're seeing that we might have never seen before. Fine, you could talk about it, but then why are we starting to compare ourselves? Like, oh, when I was that age, well, who cares what you were at that age? Like, if you want to talk about them now and maybe how you're worried, concerned, fine. But then we start comparing yourself. That's when it gets weird. Because why are you comparing yourself?
and just because you see a couple of people that have done it, a couple of kids that have done it. I
Yeah,
think you might have brought this point up
doesn't mean
earlier.
everybody's doing it.
Yeah,
There's probably still kids who are 13, 14 that still shop at Claire's.
right. Claire still exists for a reason,
Yeah,
and it ain't because y'all 34-year-olds are shopping.
yeah. Like Claire's are still in pretty much every mall we go to.
So it's just a lot of weird shit. Like you peaked in high school,
Yeah.
you never really got what you wanted out of life.
Or they looked bad in high school and they're like, dang, like they're almost jealous now that they don't look as good as
That's
some of
what it
these
sounds
kids
like.
look like in high
Yeah,
school.
somebody. Well, that sentence was about to say it sound crazy, but they look more put together. Like a lot of the reasons too. Like when we were in high school, we did a lot of things that are unflattering to our silhouettes and our bodies. So
And things just weren't as advanced back then. Like haircuts weren't what they are now.
yeah, there
Like,
weren't as many styles,
yeah, women's we had someone's.
but they still had like fades and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. People always still had dreads. The edge ups still
But you know, if
existed.
you were in high school now, you would
Oh,
for sure like
I was
be popping.
listen. I might have had grills in high school.
Yeah,
Like I would have really been out here.
but we recognize that. But we're secure in ourselves that we still we don't, first
gives
of all, we
a
don't care, and we still love who we were at that time. Like I still love how it looked. Yeah, it looked a mess to me now, but I still appreciate the era that we had. I don't want to go back. I don't wish to go back. I don't wish to look at how these kids now look now. I looked how I did at the time, and it worked for the time period. People thought it looked good. Some people didn't. But
Yeah.
it worked in the time period. Like people was gassing us up at that age when we were 17, 18 in college. We look back and be like, ugh, but at the time it worked. And that's all that matters. Like I don't care to go back. And because now wigs are more advanced and makeup's more advanced, like, no. I'm secure in myself now and I'm still young. I still get to enjoy these things, but I actually have more money now and I actually could buy them. I don't have to beg my parents for or work 2 weeks at ShopRite to afford one shirt. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so the whole debate in itself is weird, but we did things back then that were unflattering. We wore a lot of really baggy clothes, and if anybody knows common sense with clothes, if you're wearing baggy clothes, and hopefully this doesn't sound fat phobic or whatever, height phobic, whatever the different things are, but there's a reason why why they use slim, tall models in fashion, because it's just the way the clothes drape on that type of silhouette just looks the best. But we wore baggy clothes, and they wear baggy clothes in high fashion too, but like the way that we did our baggy clothes is way different than high fashion. So us wearing a big giant triple XL Cookie Monster shirt and like big baggy jeans and all that kind of stuff, like it just doesn't, like it could still look cool, right? Like we don't take anything away from like Aaliyah, for example, who wore a lot of that tomboyish sort of style,
Yeah.
but the silhouettes don't fit the same way. Like
That was more so middle school though, right? Not really. I don't know. For me, it was tight clothes was the thing. Skinny jeans.
yeah, we went through a cycle. Skinny jeans was like 2009, but
Yeah, but you talking about like before that, like elementary school, early middle school days.
yeah, just like the whole cycle of like our style was like
Yeah.
there was just a lot of stuff we were doing, like the like New Boys era and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
I
Like,
forgot. Yeah. And
we
everybody
did-
wearing the what are those shoes? The DC sneakers and the baggy jeans. Yeah.
we went through just a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so we didn't even dress in the way that fit our style. But I was actually really what I was talking about was like people that were in high school, like in the 2000s, like the early 2000s and
Yeah.
stuff like
Like
that.
the people who are millennials, the real millennials.
Yeah, the real millennials, like the rock star, spiked hair,
Yeah.
frosted tips kind of thing. Like they wore really big shirts
Yeah,
and big
and
pants.
baggy jeans.
So
Yeah.
it just made them look like they were 45, but they were really
Yeah.
like 17.
So they feel like maybe they didn't embrace their bodies that they had back then. So now they're hating because they might look a mess now, but they
Yeah.
felt like, dang, I looked hot back then and I was wearing baggy clothes.
Right, because back then, like we just dressed a certain way. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
dress to our strengths. We just dressed to dress
Yeah.
trendy,
Yeah.
or whatever was trending. But now there's gonna be a lot more body type stuff, where like
Yeah.
people's facial hair is gonna be cut a certain way, which
Yeah.
is gonna make them look better, and the hair is gonna be faded a certain way. It's just that people back then at that time, and even a little bit in our era, we didn't really embrace a lot of
Yeah,
the
embrace our youth
things.
almost.
Like even the long hair for men. Like long hair, men have always had long hair, but the way that men are embracing it nowadays is like now there's an embracing
Yeah.
of your natural
But a
features.
lot of older men don't even have that hair anymore. So they
Yeah,
can't even do that now.
because because long hair you would think makes you look more mature,
Mm-hmm.
but long hair actually makes you more youthful in my
Yeah, more
opinion.
youthful.
When I've
Mm-hmm.
had my hair short, I look way older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could have short hair and a beard, and I just look like a 45-year-old man
That's the same
because
for women too. Like Bob's with short
yeah,
hairstyle seems more like remember we used to be like in school like oh short hair more mature. We're trying people used to act like you were so mature when you came back to
yeah.
school with the short sewing.
The long hair looks more childish. So like
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, the millennials they got the long. Even if you have long like locks or braids, cornrows, whatever it is that you're doing, the hair is longer and you just look more childlike.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it's
it's
definitely a
just
lot. It's definitely a lot of hating at its
definitely hating. It's
core.
literally just hating at
It's
its core.
jealousy, yeah, and it's just that like you see it every cycle. Like the Gen Z kids now, they're gonna go through the same thing in 10 years, 15 years, coming for Gen Alpha. Like it's just a cycle.
Yeah, we should bring
Every
eight.
generation is gonna just be haters every time because they're not young. Like I already see it happen with Gen Z because they're looking at pictures of like Chicago, Dream, True, and Stormy. Like like the youngest of like the Kardashian Jenners. And they're like, oh my God, they're gonna be the it girls, and we're all gonna be 40. Like I'm like, you're already looking at like they're already impending. They're aging. I'm like, this is
Yeah,
sad. Like they're about to be the new it girls, and we're all gonna be 40. Like it's gonna be so crazy. Like I'm like, relax, live in the moment now. Like why are you already impending
right.
being old? Like it's just weird.
And you were never the it girl now, so
Yeah.
they are. It's like you never were.
Yeah.
You were a random. You were never
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So
So the obsession with youth is just a crazy thing.
because I believe in age shaming, but only in certain contexts.
Yeah.
I believe in age shaming.
And you can age shame without comparing yourself. You don't even have to compare.
I only believe in age shaming when we're trying to use it as a means for how somebody should behave.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Nikki gets a lot of that. You're 40, but I mean,
Because realistically, after living her life that long, you should just want peace.
there's certain.
Like
Let's not
even
talk
now,
about her.
I'm saying
but
even now in our late 20s, don't you just hate chaos? Like maybe when you was like when we were younger, we kind of like the idea of drama with our friends, like gossip, right? Like you kind of like the drama a little bit. But don't you feel like at this point in your life, you just want peace? And people who are just chaotic or like drama, you just kind of like are annoyed by it because like at this point in your life, you just want calm and peaceful like life. So at 40, you should want that, and I think that's why people are so like, Nikki, you're 40 because it's like you are like you see Beyonce don't even be talking. She's living, she's rich, she won. Nikki, you won. Like you are who you are. You don't need to fight with everybody.
We'll talk about that
Yeah.
later. But yeah, so age shaming I agree with, but only when we're using it as like a means for corrective behavior. You shouldn't be 40 and doing certain stuff, including certain TikTok
And you shouldn't be too young doing certain stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's just.
But the comparing is just a weird.
Millennials hating.
Yeah, millennials are definitely hating, and some Gen Z, I feel like some Gen Z need to chill out too, like coming like age shaming a little bit because it's like you're gonna age, and aging is a beautiful thing. Like so, on both sides is weird. That's why I feel like I said, being in the 1996 in the middle, I'm just looking at both sides. Like you guys are both kind of weird. Millennials started it, so you're more weird, but you guys are both kind of weird because the age shaming from the Gen Z is kind of weird too. Because like
everybody they look up to.
We all age, and and everybody look up to. Like everybody loves Cardi. He's 20. He's our age. He's 28, 27. Travis, like all the young people at his shows, rage. Travis is in his 30s. So everybody that you will look up to and want to be like are in their late 20s, 30s already. So it's kind of, it was weird to shame,
Yeah.
Especially because you're going to age, God willing. Like it should be a goal to get to your 30s. Who doesn't want to live a long, fulfilling life?
Yeah.
So it's a blessing to age. So let's just stop the war. Like, if we wanted to edit this and put the Michael Jackson meme, please put the guns down. Like, but I'm just happy to be in the cusp because I just feel like I don't feel offended by any side of the argument because I'm right in the middle. So
I don't feel offended by any argument ever.
Yeah.
Because I'm me.
And first of all, I know I look good for my age. So
I'm not a millennial. I'm Alex.
Yeah. I look at my age, and I actually feel like I could jump out the window and say that I look better than some younger people because my advantage is just my body.
Go.
No, I'm saying my advantage.
Like
I know, but I'm saying my advantage for me is my body.
You.
And I'm saying my advantage for me is my body because a lot of people be looking a mess, and I feel like my body has been. I weigh the same since I've been in high school.
Are you weight shaming?
I'm not weight shaming. I'm just saying I've been the same weight since I've been in high school. So that's not even me saying, that's not even me being delusional. I've literally been 125 pounds since I've been in high school. Like I've been the same weight. And some people look crazy, like they're shaped really bad. So I think I win in that. And I don't have kids yet, so my body's still.
Okay, hitting millennial. Anyway, let's move
I'm not
on.
a millennial. I'm Gen Z. 1996, September 1996.
Anyway.
Look, that thing that we just looked at said 1994 was the cutoff date.
Anyway,
So are we not Gen Z? So I'm comparing myself to my other fellow Gen Zers. Hey, y'all.
Let's move on.
You know, but I be making a whole statement, and then I become a hypocrite.
Yeah, you make the statement and then you retract everything that you just said for like the past.
But see, at least I'm real. I can admit that. It's a little hypocritical.
Just stop talking.
Okay.
Just stop.
It's just
Just turn it off.
champagne.
Just stop. Yeah, I know. You just chatting.
It's true though.